I don't know about experienced divers like Hinano.
I'm not experienced, man. I mean, I used to dive, and now I'm like, I've got the dad bod, and you know what I mean. I got the lung of a like an 80-year-old. you know,
You got
yeah,
like the old smoker's lung.
yeah. The most experience I got in diving is diving into a pool.
The 3 feet.
Yeah, one
That's
foot,
funny.
1 foot at a time
Oh,
in.
the baby
One
pool.
foot.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I'm the
That's
babysitter. You
You're,
funny.
can hear me
you're
crying.
gonna come up for air.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Uncommon podcast. I am Hinano. This is my wife Delilah. Dee, please say hi to the fam.
Hey fam, hope everyone's doing well.
And then today we also have someone else in the house, the very own Fro Ecomi. How you doing, sir?
Good, brother. Good. Hope you both are doing well.
We're doing good, man. Thank you so much for coming on the pod. I like to look at you as like an architect in the Twitter feeds. And I don't know if you know what the reference of the architect is, but I kind of take that from The Matrix Reloaded. If you remember when Neo got to the end of the movie and he actually met the architect of the Matrix, that's what you remind me of, man. You remind me of the architect of like the VeVe-verse or Twitter with all of your your content that you create for the fam, the images, the imagery. You're really good at that stuff, man. And so, what got you into that kind of stuff?
Um, it's just mainly like a long, long time ago when I was in college. I majored in arts and computer graphics. A lot of my creations are done just with just simple Photoshop and still pictures, and I use a few apps from the App Store, but for the most part, it's just I think back to when I was young. I always loved to draw. In class doodles, sketches of the person sitting next to me in history class. It was your genuine reaction that I enjoyed. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but for the most part, it was the good that pushed me to keep making people smile. With the VeVe Vault, we are somewhat limited to what we can create and do. Sometimes it takes a while to formulate a plan, but the end result is always worth it. I just wanted to create artwork that the community can look at and make them smile or laugh. Maybe they're at home or at work on their breaks or having lunch, and they're looking for a chuckle, and or they're just having a bad day and they need a quick pick-me-up. The VeVe community is family, and I believe we should all strive to lift each other up, and that's why I do it.
Man,
That's awesome that you're using one of your talents to brighten other people's lives, and just a little bit of it could mean like a lot to someone without you even realizing it. So that's great.
yeah, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's an inspiration right there. And I always see your tweets. I always interact with your tweets. I even know the superstars also always see your tweets. I always see you get a shout out there, man. And like I said, I consider you like an architect, and I can see people like you and Ed and VeVe Vault Master one day getting jobs in the VeVe-verse or any kind of metaverse. Have you ever thought of that, to where you could leave your IRL job and actually maybe sell real estate in the VeVe-verse, or create real estate in the VeVe-verse, or who knows, create worlds in the VeVe-verse? I can see you doing it, man.
Most definitely. It would be an honor to assist in any way with the VeVe-verse. it's like you mentioned before in your interview with Tropical Bird. It's it's our third home, and I would be more than happy to do what I can to make our third home an enjoyable place. Um, Ed, what can I say? One of the daily BB creators. Just recently he and I started DMing each other, just to get to know each other a little bit better. And come to find out, I grew up in South Carolina, spent my early childhood there, and we were just probably 15 minutes apart.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a connection there, and we were just talking, DMing, and like, wow, I literally could probably throw a rock and hit your house from my house. So yeah, very very solid dude, very talented and creative. He and VeVe Vault Master Creator, they are Jedi's in the VeVe Vault. Way more talented than I am. Creators like those two push me to become better.
It's for one, I think you're selling yourself short, because I think you're just as good, and the fact that you and Ed grew up pretty close to each other, that's some kinship right there. If you think about it, I mean, you guys found each other in VeVe. You guys, have that connection, and it goes back to this third place that we're in. It's very special. We're in a very special place. This community is very special. The fact that you're here gracing us with your presence is special. And so I think for me, we're in a really interesting place right now. For one, I was telling Dee this the other day. I'm like, a year or 2 years ago, we would have never talked to strangers on the internet or bought, digital collectibles or picture art or any of that stuff, and it goes back to the original interview with Tropical. Everyone looked at us like we were crazy. But what's crazy
Still
is
do.
they still do. But what's crazy is people don't realize the community that's forming here. As far as I'm concerned, this stuff could go to zero. I don't think it will, but it could. But the relationships, the family, and the friends that we've made, man, it's priceless. It's super priceless. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. What about you, Dee?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And just kind of you mentioning how close you were growing up from Ed, it's like, the world is so small, and it reminds me of like how it is here in Hawaii. Like, yeah, whichever island you're from, it's a really small place if you really think about it. So just making that connection and possibly collabing together in the future, I think that's great.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I got a question for you, because we talk about VeVe being our third home, but it's my understanding that you used to live where I live, actually, my home. And so I was hoping that you could talk or maybe explain to the VeVe fam how that felt like not really growing up in Hawaii, but living in Hawaii, experiencing Hawaii. Because once you experience Hawaii, and this, it's different. You don't experience anything else. It's a different vibe, the people, the aloha spirit. I mean, today's Friday. Usually on Fridays in Hawaii, everyone that lives in Hawaii knows it's Aloha Friday today, which means exactly, you throw up some shakas, you go to the store, you buy some food, you grill up some steaks, you maybe have a beer, or not have a beer, maybe just water. And you just chill, talk story with your friends and neighbors and have a good time. That's today. And so, happy Aloha Friday, brother. And thanks for chilling
Aloha
with us.
Friday.
That's right.
You both. Yeah.
Thank you.
But tell the fam a little bit about Hawaii and your experiences here, if you don't mind.
I lived in Hawaii for about 4 years. I had the pleasure of experiencing Hawaii as a young man. I was blessed to be able to to walk Waikiki pretty much almost every night of the week. And the beaches, the soothing waters of Hawaii, the nature, the natural beauty. That will stay with you for a lifetime. I still get, chicken skin thinking about it, even when I'm not there. Um, yeah, I got a funny story about Hawaii. So I was approached to be an extra in the movie Godzilla with Matthew Broderick. That
Wow.
was back in 1997, and I said yes. I'm like, yeah, a movie, absolutely. So, we got out to Colo Ranch where they filmed George of the Jungle, Jurassic Park, um, uh, 51st Date, and it was an experience that I would cherish for the rest of my life. And I take that with me. It's one of those memories you can never erase, and so Hawaii is always going to be a part of my life. And I go back at least once a year for the last couple of years. Even through COVID, we went. I went during COVID, but I had to get vaccinated just to get on the plane. And yeah, Hawaii's going to be a memorable place for me and anyone who visits in the future.
I have a relatable story
Oh,
about.
do tell.
So Godzilla with Matthew Broderick, I was a part of that film too.
Really?
But I wasn't in the film. I was a part of the marketing campaign. And so
Mm,
before, and you've been to luau's, right? You've been to
all the
luau's.
time.
So if the fam's never been to a luau, it's basically a presentation or a show where you get to see hula dancers and Tahitian dancers and different ways and styles of dancing all around the Pacific. And then there's these drummers that drum for the dancers. And so I was one of the drummers back then. And Taco Bell hired us for their huge marketing campaign for Godzilla.
Yes.
Taco Bell.
And so I wore, I was literally in an underwear, by the way. We call it a malo. But, my ass cheeks were hanging out while there was it must have been 2,000 people looking at us while I'm drumming. And they had this big foot of Godzilla right in front of us, just the foot. And then we'd have stuff that we're on right now, and they'd be like, okay, you need to drum. And then we start drumming, and the dancers come out, and it's very Hollywood. And then you hear them go, okay, you got to stop drumming. You need to get the dancers off, and they all run away. And so we did that for the entire marketing campaign while they were here. And,
Wow.
So it's just very funny that you were part of that film,
We got
because so was I.
we got connections. We didn't even know it.
Yeah, and I only love that film because I was a part of it. But other than that, it bombed, right?
Yeah.
So that's funny, man.
Yeah. You can literally see me in the background right behind Matthew Broderick.
What scene?
It's a scene where he's coming down from the top of the hill, and he doesn't realize he's in a footprint. He's like, "Oh, where's the footprint?" Well, we're standing in it. I'm the guy behind him, pointing to the other guy, measure the footprint. So I was in military garb, and I was directing traffic, I guess is how you can say it. So yeah,
Wow.
it was surreal, so
That is
and
so cool, man.
We're gonna have to
yeah,
go check that out.
Yeah, everyone that's
Yeah.
watching this is gonna go and watch the film now, right?
Yep. And zoom in to your part.
Yeah, I know Joe is probably gonna go pull up the film after this, Superstar Joe. But that's cool. Hey D, do you have any
Yeah.
questions for Fro?
Well, kind of touching on, living in different places. You said you've lived in Hawaii, you've lived in South Carolina, and now on the West Coast, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to know your experiences in all these three different places. Are there any similarities or differences and lifestyles of people, negative, positive, that you see in all these places you've lived in?
Great question. I love them all. The West Coast, the Golden State, California. It's hard to not love California. You have beaches on one side, and you have, the Yosemite, mountain range on the other side. You got LA, San Fran, and South Carolina, where I spent most of my childhood. It's a different. It's you get that southern hospitality. Everyone's super nice and open doors for you and good morning. Not that California doesn't do it, but it's more prominent there. It seems like everybody's kind of just out to make everyone else's day more pleasurable. And then you have Hawaii. Oh gosh, that's Hawaii's kind of like my you know go to home away from home.
Yeah.
And the people is not like the mainland. It's everyone there is it's kind of cliche, but ohana, right? It's family.
Yeah.
And you get a different sense of belonging in Hawaii. It's more personal. You get to see the people and everyone calling each other brother, sister, uncle, auntie. And you see someone elderly crossing the street, you go help them out. You don't just stand there and watch. Someone's getting food, you help them carry food from the grocery carts to their car. It's more like I said, family oriented. You feel like you belong and everyone belongs together.
Yes.
So,
I just got chicken skin.
Yeah.
When you were saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a genuine feeling that I have, and I'm pretty sure everyone feels the same way. It's just not everyone gets to experience that, but when you do, it's a lasting feeling for the rest of your life. It lasts forever. So every time I go back, it's like I never left.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much said exactly what this place is. You're absolutely right. Everything you said, 100%. And that's why, 'cause I lived in California. I used to live in Costa Mesa. And, I love the weather over there. The weather was great, as you said, and, you have all these places you can go to. But at the end of the day, I left. And I wanted to come back here just because of what you just said. There's not a lot of places where you get off that airplane and there's the aloha spirit in the air. I mean, you walk into like a mom and pop store, and if you are like short on money, granted, the uncle or auntie behind you is going to drop the bills to help you out. And it's the same for everybody here. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some bad apples here, but everywhere has bad apples. But when it comes to that aloha spirit that you just explained, it flourishes here in Hawaii. And I'm glad you said that, because I mean, I know you get that because you lived here, but now at least the audience can kind of understand more about you and also us on where we've lived and where we come from. I'm a big believer in family, big believer in the aloha spirit. That's why, for the people watching, I hope you guys understand now the kind of person that I am. Because what Fro just said is the kind of person that I am. I'm the guy that will help the old lady or the old man cross the street. I'm the guy that'll drop money. In fact, I pay it forward all the time. Sometimes I'll pay for the person's food behind me in the drive-thru just because, just like some of these comics I drop. I just do it just because. And,
You do so much. You do so much. And
I wish I could do more.
Back.
I wish I could do more.
I learned from watching you about the the flooring everything just for the family to the VeVe family to those that don't have the gems. You give them a chance, and I love that. I love that about you,
That's I'm glad you said that. I'm going to explain to you why I do it. I try not to. I don't really tell people why I do what I do, because in reality, it's nobody's business. But a few years back, or should I say, maybe back in like 10 years ago or so, I was given an opportunity, or basically someone helped me out. And because of that act of gesture, it changed my life for the better. And by doing that, not only did it change my life for the better, but it allowed me to, meet my wife, have a family, get my shit in gear, and just move forward. So because of that act of kindness from this one person, and I won't say what that person did because that is a story for another time, because someone gave something to me and they didn't have to, it changed my life. And I hope whatever these comic drops that I'm doing, that one NFT allows you to flip gems or flip whatever to get wherever you need to go to change your life. That's why I do it. And I don't want recognition. I really don't want likes or comment. I don't really care for any of that stuff. I just hope that, by doing that kind of stuff, it helps someone out there in the community. That's all I care about.
Yeah, it's the whole kind of like doing it for yourself in a way to to make you like be a better person, and it's that feeling I don't know, just for oneself, I guess, and not doing it for recognition or whatever Hinano just said. And then by people seeing it, they can also go and share it with someone else, and and change someone else's life. Like, yeah, paying it forward.